Hello, how are you doing today, my friend? Thank you so much for joining me here. For joining me here on Thank You Life. This is a series following postures of life, and I am Aaron Cesarik. I'm a 200-hour certified yoga teacher. I teach at the yoga room in Gerard Niles, Ohio area, and I teach chair yoga at a nursing home. I also teach yoga at a rehab facility. This series, Thank You Life, is going to be about gratitude. It's all about gratitude, different ways to bring gratitude into our lives. In this episode in particular, episode 2 actually, I did not make a video for episode 1. It was just an article about Memorial Day, about being thankful for the veterans, for the whole experience of life in in America, in a way that we can live life free from worry and anxiety in most forms, from the more kind of freedom encroaching things that may happen, the repressive things. I mean, they still exist, but we are given many options before us, and we are hopefully able to choose what best path in our lives that we would most like, most feel that it would bring us health and happiness. So, for this episode, this is Thank You Life for Gratitude. This is really just kind of an introduction into the series, thinking about gratitude and what it can offer us, thinking about how gratitude works in our lives, how we feel in the absence of gratitude. For me, I'll speak on my own experience because, of course, I can only really speak on my own experience as a true expert. Sometimes, maybe not, but I do my best. So, gratitude for me is like a door. It's like a door opening. It opens the way to all kinds of positive things within my life, health and happiness, joy, satisfaction with who I am as a incarnate right here in this physical plane. And it helps me connect to who I am on a deeper level, on the spiritual plane, as a spiritual being inhabiting this incarnate form. So, gratitude for me is a doorway, a path to health and happiness. And I invite you to think about what gratitude is for you. Perhaps it has the potential to help you in a very significant way, just as it has helped me. So, a little about finding gratitude in my own life. Anytime when I feel that I am closed off, that I feel shut down, I always think about how I am feeling, whether gracious or ungracious, kind of selfish and self centered versus open, versus giving, versus happy to receive as well. Because when I'm selfish and self centered, sometimes I do not want to receive. I want to remain closed off and alone. And I find in my experience that this just exaggerates the feelings of unhappiness, and I kind of sink deeper and deeper down into a hole of despair, kind of my own volition. I think we give different things permission in our lives. We could give gratitude permission to come into our lives, health and happiness, permission to come into our lives, but we also give permission for suffering to come into our lives, for loneliness to come into our lives, for all those other negative emotions to come. It cannot come if we don't open open the door, as it were, of our souls to those feelings, whether they be good or bad. It kind of reminds me of a movie that I hear they're going to make a sequel of pretty soon. The movie is Beetlejuice. I remember the way to summon this crazy mischievous poltergeist named Beetlejuice was to say his name 3 times. So, in a way, repeating a name, whether it be a negative name, a negative concept like unhappiness or hate or something like violence, and then repeating love and connectedness, gratitude, prosperity, perhaps, that can be a way to summon this kind of healthy, healthy entity into our lives, or this unhealthy entity into our lives, and to actually kind of bring that entity into our consciousness and our being, and to kind of form around that as who we are in our everyday lives. So, I don't know, just a little aside that I think was a little amusing. I try to keep things light and happy, not to be too serious, not to be too kind of higher minded or lower minded, to try to meet in the middle, to be practical about these spiritual natures of life. So, for the practice today that I would like to offer, it is simply to be aware of awareness, or aware of gratitude in our lives, to bring the concept of gratitude into our consciousness moment to moment. Am I being gracious or am I not being gracious? And how does that feel? How does that affect me? And this could be done anywhere. This can be done at the workplace, or this can be done at your home as you're watching your preferred television show. This can be done on the yoga mat or meditation cushion as you are practicing that, if that is part of your life practice. It can really be done anywhere. It can be done when you're having a test at school if you're a student, or it can be done simply anytime. Anytime when you may be walking down a lane somewhere, or you may be petting a kitty cat. And for those of you that might follow this little YouTube channel of mine, you might have noticed that Kitty was gone for a while. He was out roaming about somewhere in the world, relatively close to the house, I think. But we were very worried and very upset. I thought Kitty might be gone forever. I thought that might have been the last time I would see Kitty in the physical form. Of course, Kitty will always be with me in a very deep sort of way, a very spiritual way. He has brought out kindness and compassion, thankfulness, gratitude, peacefulness, all these different things pets can bring out into our lives. And in particular, Kitty is such a nice, cuddly cat, always looking for a lap to embrace. And I'm grateful for that. So I would, I can get to a deeper part of the practice if you would like to participate in it. So the deeper part of the practice this week will be finding something that you are grateful for and trying to meditate upon it. And what I mean by doing that is just finding your kitty or your happy thing. Perhaps it's spending time with a loved one, or maybe it could even be a favorite TV show or a favorite food. And you could just spend time kind of thinking about that object and bringing it into your consciousness and thinking about the things that make you happy and gracious that surround that object, the feelings, the sensations, whatever it may be, just to spend some time learning what it feels like to be grateful around this particular object. And as the series moves on, I hope to expand this awareness to many other situations and occasions in life. Because if we can be grateful in all occasions, all situations, with all experiences in life, well, then we can be in a much healthier and happier place in general in our lives just because we are open, we are receptive to love and kindness and compassion, as well as more liable to give this from ourselves, as we are so grateful. We cannot help but do so, so it becomes our nature to do so. So, with that, I'll go ahead and close this episode of Thank You Life. This episode, Thank You Life for Gratitude. And I do hope you will join me next week. It is always a joy to talk about such concepts, to hopefully impart a practice that has benefited me in my own life that may benefit others, so that we might be more connected, even if we might never share the same physical space. We can still share the same energetic wavelength of positivity, of gratefulness and openness, of seeking love, of seeking a place where we do feel peace, where we do feel joy and love on a consistent basis. I hope that if we do not meet in the physical space, that we do meet in this positive, energetic space. So, thank you so much again for being here today. If you would like, I invite you to say a word that means my inner light honors your inner light. That word would be namaste, and I invite you to say this now. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here today, for practicing with me. I wish to impart some thanks upon my body and my voice that helps me stay aware and connected with the incarnate world around, that helps me communicate and stay connected, and the ground which supports me, that would make it rather impossible to concentrate and focus on the living state and the incarnate, because, well, I'd be falling perhaps forever, or perhaps I'd be floating out in space. Who knows what bizarre phenomenon would exist if we didn't have the ground to support us and gravity to help push us back down to earth when we may get a little too floaty, whether it be physically or mentally. And also, I wish to thank the vital breath. The vital breath helps connect us all, kitty cats and humans and dogs and all living beings, plants and animals. And it helps us share in the joy and the mystery of life. So thank you so much, vital breath. And thank you once again, my friend, for being here, for participating with me in a healthy living practice. Thank you, life. Thank you, all living beings. May we all find peace and joy and happiness. Just continue to do our best as who we are. A nice deep breath, nice awareness to the spine. And you have a great day, my friend. God bless you. Namaste. Sorry, kitty, kitty cat.